A retired schoolteacher walks into a cruise ship casino on the first night of her vacation. She sits down at a cheerful penny slot machine, the same kind she plays at her local casino back home where she usually breaks even or wins a little. 7 days later, she's lost $1,400. She's confused, devastated, and her dream cruise is ruined. She keeps asking herself, "What happened? I was playing the exact same games I always play. How did I lose so much money so fast?" Here's what happened, and here's what the cruise line will never tell you. Those weren't the same games. They looked identical. Same manufacturer, same graphics, same sounds, same spinning reels. But inside, where it matters, they were programmed completely differently. Those cruise ship slot machines were set so tight, with RTPs so low, that she never had a chance. And here's what's going to make you angry. This is completely legal. Cruise ships operate in international waters, which means they're not bound by the gaming regulations that protect you in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, or your local casino. They can program slot machines as tight as they want. They can set RTPs at levels that would be illegal on land. And they do, because they know you're trapped on that ship with nowhere else to gamble, and they're going to extract every dollar they can. Most cruise passengers have no idea this is happening. They see familiar slot machines, Buffalo, Wheel of Fortune, Lightning Link, and they assume the odds are the same as the casino back home. They're not even close. And by the time passengers figure this out, they've already lost hundreds or thousands of dollars. But what if you knew the truth? What if you understood exactly how cruise ship slot machines are programmed differently? Why they're designed to take your money faster than land-based slots, and which specific types of machines are the absolute worst. That's exactly what I'm going to expose today. So, who am I, and why should you trust me? My name is Richard, and for 25 years I worked inside casinos, including 3 years consulting for cruise line casino operations. I've sat in the meetings where they discussed how tight to set the machines. I've watched them program slots at RTPs that would get them shut down on land. I've seen the internal data showing how much money they extract from unsuspecting passengers. And I've seen countless people, retirees, families, couples on their dream vacation, lose money they couldn't afford to lose because they didn't know what they were up against. Now, I'm pulling back the curtain and exposing everything the cruise lines don't want you to know. If you're planning a cruise, or if you know someone who is, you need to watch this entire video. By the end, you'll understand exactly why you should never play slot machines on cruise ships. If this is the kind of brutally honest insider information you've been searching for, smash that subscribe button right now and leave a comment below. Have you ever played slots on a cruise ship? How much did you lose? Tell me your story. All right, let's get into it. Here's why you should never play those slot machines on cruise ships. The first reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the RTP, return to player percentage, is significantly lower than land-based casinos, and I mean dramatically lower. Let me explain exactly how bad it is. In Nevada, gaming regulations require slot machines to have a minimum RTP of approximately 75%, but in practice, most Vegas casinos set their slots between 90% and 96% to stay competitive. In New Jersey, the minimum is 83%, and most Atlantic City casinos run 88% to 94%. Even tribal casinos, which have more flexibility, typically run 85% to 92% because they're competing with other casinos and they need to keep players happy. But on a cruise ship, there is no minimum. 0. The cruise line can set the RTP as low as they want because they operate in international waters where gaming regulations don't exist. I consulted with a major cruise line's casino operation, and let me tell you what I saw in those meetings. They were programming penny slots at 82% to 85% RTP, video slots at 84% to 88%. Even dollar slots were set at 88% to 90%, which is lower than penny slots in many Vegas casinos. Let me put this in perspective. If you play a penny slot in Vegas at 92% RTP, and you wager $100, you can expect to lose about $8 on average. If you play that same penny slot on a cruise ship at 83% RTP and wager $100, you're losing $17 on average. That's more than double the loss rate. Your money disappears twice as fast. But here's what makes it even worse. The volatility is often programmed higher on cruise ship slots. Higher volatility means longer dry spells between wins. So, not only are you losing more money overall, but you're experiencing fewer wins along the way. The machine eats your money faster and gives you less entertainment for your dollar. I watched a woman named Patricia play cruise ship slots for 3 days. She'd been playing the same Buffalo slot at her local casino for years, usually putting through about $500 over a weekend and walking away with $400 to $450. She thought she understood the game. On the cruise ship, she put $500 through what looked like the exact same Buffalo game and walked away with $180. She lost $320 compared to her usual $50 to $100 loss. Same game, same bet size, same playing time. Completely different result because of RTP. The cruise line knew exactly what they were doing. In the meeting, the casino director said, "Our passengers are captive for 7 days. They can't leave. They can't go to another casino. We can set the machines tighter because we don't have competition. By day 3, they're bored, they've been drinking, and they'll play regardless of the odds." That's a direct quote. They view you as a captive audience to be exploited. Have you noticed that cruise ship slots seem tighter than land casinos? Let me know in the comments. The second reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the lack of transparency and regulation. On land, casinos are heavily regulated. Gaming commissions audit the machines. RTPs are published or available upon request. There are consumer protections. If a casino cheats, they lose their license and face massive fines. On a cruise ship, none of that exists. The ship is registered in a foreign country, usually the Bahamas, Panama, or Liberia, and those countries have little to no gaming regulation. There's no gaming commission, there's no oversight, there's no transparency. The cruise line can do whatever they want, and you have zero recourse. Let me give you a concrete example. In Nevada, if you feel a slot machine malfunctioned or cheated you can file a complaint with the Nevada Gaming Control Board. They'll investigate. They'll pull the machine's data. They'll examine the software, and there's a process, and there are consequences for casinos that violate regulations. On a cruise ship, if you think a machine malfunctioned, who do you complain to? The cruise line. And who investigates? The cruise line. They're investigating themselves. There's no independent oversight. No gaming commission, no consumer protection agency. I talked to a retired engineer named Bob who hit what appeared to be a $2,400 jackpot on a cruise ship slot. The machine locked up, displayed the jackpot, and bells were ringing. But when the slot attendant came over, they said the machine malfunctioned and the jackpot wasn't valid. They offered him $50 in free play as compensation. Bob was furious. He demanded to see the machine's data, to have it audited by an independent party. The cruise line refused. They said their internal audit showed a malfunction, and that was final. Bob had no recourse. He couldn't file a complaint with the Gaming Commission because there wasn't one. He couldn't sue because the cruise line's terms and conditions stated all disputes must be resolved through arbitration in the Bahamas under Bahamian law. He lost his $2,400 jackpot, and there was nothing he could do about it. This happens more often than you think. Cruise lines can void jackpots by claiming malfunctions. They can adjust RTPs without notice. They can change pay tables without disclosure, and you have zero protections. Here's what the fine print on your cruise ticket says. The casino operates under the laws of foreign country, and all disputes will be resolved under those laws. Most passengers never read that. They don't realize they're giving up all their consumer protections the moment they step foot in that casino. Would you ever play at a land casino with zero regulation and zero consumer protections? Of course not. So why would you play on a cruise ship? Have you ever had a dispute with a cruise ship casino? Tell me in the comments. The third reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the deliberately deceptive placement and marketing. Cruise lines know their slots have worse odds than land-based casinos, so they use psychological tricks to make you think you're winning when you're actually losing. Let me explain some of the tactics I saw them use. First, they place the loosest machines, and I use that term loosely because even their loose machines are tighter than most land casinos, in highly visible locations near the casino entrance. When someone hits a bonus or a small jackpot, bells ring, lights flash, and everyone walking by sees it. This creates the illusion that people are winning. But here's the trick. Those visible machines might be set at 88% RTP, which seems decent, while the machines in the back of the casino are set at 82% RTP. Passengers see the wins at the front, assume all the machines are paying well, and sit down at the tight machines in the back. Second, cruise ship casinos use what I call celebration inflation. Every tiny win is celebrated like a major jackpot. You bet $2 and win $1.50, a net loss of 50 cents. But the machine plays triumphant music, shows animations, and displays "You win" on the screen. Your brain registers a win even though you just lost money. I watched them calibrate this deliberately. In the casino operations meeting, they discussed increasing the frequency of losses disguised as wins to keep players engaged. They said, "We need players to feel like they're winning even when they're losing. More celebrations, more sounds, more lights, even on net loss spins." Third, they strategically place slots near high-traffic areas where you're waiting and bored. Slots near the buffet entrance, slots in the hallway between the theater and the dining room, slots near the pool deck. These are areas where you have 5 or 10 minutes to kill, and there's a machine right there. The cruise line knows you'll impulsively drop $20 or $40 without thinking about it. And those machines, they're the tightest on the ship. I saw them program the hallway machines at 81% to 83% RTP because they knew players weren't comparing options. They were just killing time. I watched a couple waiting for the buffet to open feed $60 into a hallway slot machine over 15 minutes. They won $12 total. They lost $48 in a quarter of an hour because they were bored and the machine was conveniently located. Fourth, cruise lines advertise Vegas-style slots, or same slots as Vegas. This is technically true. They are the same machines from the same manufacturers, but it's deliberately misleading. The machines look the same, but they're programmed completely differently. It's like advertising, same car as a Ferrari, and then putting a lawnmower engine inside. Technically, it's the same chassis, but it doesn't perform the same at all. Have you ever impulsively played slots while waiting on a cruise? Let me know in the comments. The fourth reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the predatory targeting of seniors and retirees. This is the part that makes me angry because I watched cruise lines deliberately design their slot floors to exploit older passengers who make up the majority of cruise customers. Here's what they know. Most cruise passengers are over 60. Many are retirees on fixed incomes. Many have been playing slots at their local casino for years and feel comfortable with the games. The cruise lines exploit this familiarity and trust. I sat in a marketing meeting where they discussed the senior slot player profile. They said seniors tend to play longer sessions, are less likely to track their losses carefully, are more susceptible to near-miss psychology, and often play while drinking, which impairs judgment. They designed their slot floor specifically to exploit these vulnerabilities. They place comfortable chairs at the machines because they know seniors will play longer if they're comfortable. They offer free drinks to impair judgment. They use familiar game themes, classic slots, Wheel of Fortune, games based on old TV shows, because seniors are drawn to nostalgia. They train staff to be extra friendly and attentive to senior players to build false rapport and to keep them playing. I watched a slot attendant strike up a conversation with an elderly woman who was losing money steadily. The attendant was warm, chatty, asking about her grandkids, complimenting her outfit. The woman felt like she'd made a friend, so she kept playing. Over 3 hours, she lost $600 while chatting with her new friend, who was paid to keep her in that seat. The cruise lines also know that many seniors don't understand modern slot technology. They don't know about RTPs, volatility, or pair sheets. They think all slots are basically the same. The cruise lines exploit this lack of knowledge ruthlessly. I watched a retired couple play penny slots for an entire 7-day cruise. They'd play 2 or 3 hours every afternoon, betting about $1.25 per spin. They thought they were being conservative because they were playing penny slots. By the end of the cruise, they'd lost $2,100. They were devastated. They couldn't understand how they'd lost so much on penny slots. I explained to them that penny slots on cruise ships typically have the worst RTPs on the entire floor, often 82% to 85%. They'd been playing a game with a 17% house edge. For every $100 they wagered, they were losing $17 on average. Over 7 days of play, they'd probably wagered close to $14,000 total, and losing $2,100 was actually right in line with the mathematical expectation. They felt betrayed. They'd trusted that cruise ship slots would be fair like the slots at their local casino. That trust cost them $2,100. Are you over 60? Have you lost money on cruise ship slots? Tell me your story in the comments. The 5th reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the complete lack of player rewards compared to land-based casinos. When you play slots at a land-based casino, you earn comps, free play, cashback, hotel rooms, meals, show tickets. The casino rewards your play because they want you to come back, and they're competing with other casinos for your business. On a cruise ship, you get almost nothing. You're already paying thousands of dollars for the cruise. You're already a captive audience. The cruise line has no incentive to comp you because you can't leave and go to another casino. I watched the cruise line's player rewards program, and it was a joke. You'd have to play $10,000 through the slots to earn enough points for a $50 credit toward your next cruise. That's a 0.5% return. Meanwhile, a decent land-based casino gives you 0.2% to 0.5% in cashback immediately, plus free rooms, free meals, free show tickets, and other perks. Let me give you a real comparison. A player named George played $5,000 through the slots at his local casino in one weekend. He earned $25 in cashback, a free buffet worth $30, and enough tier credits to get a free hotel room on his next visit worth $100. Total value, about $155, or roughly 3% of his play. That same George played $5,000 through the slots on a cruise ship over 7 days. He earned 500 points in the cruise line's casino club, which translated to a $25 credit toward his next cruise, which he had to book within 6 months and had to cruise within a year. No cashback, no free meals, no tangible value, just a conditional $25 credit. That's a 0.5% return, and it's locked into booking another cruise. George felt insulted. He'd just put $5,000 through their machines, and they gave him basically nothing in return. The cruise lines get away with this because they know you're not there for the casino. You're there for the cruise. The casino is just an afterthought, something to do when you're bored. They don't need to compete for your gambling dollars because they've already got you. Do you get good rewards playing on cruise ships? Let me know in the comments. The 6th and final reason you should never play cruise ship slots is the psychological trap of the sunk cost fallacy combined with the captive environment. This is the deadliest combination, and it's why so many people lose so much money on cruise ships. Here's how it works. You're on day 3 of your 7-day cruise. You've already lost $500 playing slots. You're frustrated. You want to win it back. But here's the thing. You're stuck on this ship for 4 more days. You can't leave. You can't go to another casino. You can't take a break and come back next week with a fresh perspective. You're trapped with that loss staring you in the face every time you walk past the casino. The sunk cost fallacy kicks in. You'd think, I've already lost $500. I can't just walk away. I need to win it back. So you keep playing. You lose another $300. Now you're down $800. And the fallacy is even stronger. You absolutely cannot walk away now. You keep playing. By the end of the cruise, you've lost $1,500 and you're miserable. I watched this happen over and over. Passengers would lose money early in the cruise, spend the rest of the week trying to win it back, and just dig themselves deeper and deeper into a hole. The cruise environment makes it impossible to escape this psychological trap because you can't physically leave. On land, if you lose $500 at a casino, you can leave, go home, sleep on it, and decide with a clear head whether to go back. On a cruise ship, you're sleeping 200 feet from the casino. You walk past it 10 times a day. It's always there, tempting you, whispering that you can win your money back. The cruise lines know this. In the operations meeting, they actually discussed the trapped player advantage. They said passengers who lose money early in the cruise are likely to keep playing trying to recover losses, generating even more revenue for the casino. They viewed early losers as their best customers. I watched a man named Frank lose $700 on day 2 of his cruise. He spent the next 5 days in the casino, sometimes 4 or 5 hours a day, desperately trying to win it back. By the end of the cruise, he'd lost $2,800. His wife was furious. His vacation was ruined, and he couldn't escape because he was literally trapped on a boat in the middle of the ocean. This is the cruise ship casino's greatest advantage. You can't escape, and they exploit it ruthlessly. Have you ever felt trapped by losses on a cruise? Tell me in the comments. So let me bring this all together. Here are the 6 reasons you should never play slot machines on cruise ships. First, the RTPs are significantly lower than land-based casinos. You're losing money twice as fast for the same amount of play. Second, there's 0 regulation and 0 consumer protection. The cruise line can do whatever they want, and you have no recourse. Third, they use deceptive placement and marketing to make you think you're winning when you're actually losing. Fourth, they deliberately target and exploit senior players who make up the majority of their customer base. Fifth, the player rewards are worthless compared to land-based casinos. You get almost nothing for your play. Sixth, the captive environment creates a psychological trap that makes it nearly impossible to walk away from losses. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but Richard, I enjoy playing slots on cruises. What should I do instead? Here's my advice. If you absolutely must gamble on a cruise ship, avoid the slots entirely. Play table games instead. Blackjack, craps, or baccarat, where you can use skill and strategy to minimize the house edge and where the rules are more transparent. Better yet, skip the cruise ship casino altogether. Take the money you would have gambled and spend it on shore excursions, spa treatments, specialty dining, or save it for a land-based casino where you have protections and better odds. The cruise ship casino is designed to take your money. The slots are programmed tighter than legal limits on land. You have no consumer protections. The environment is designed to trap you psychologically. Every single aspect of the cruise ship slot floor is engineered to extract maximum money from you in minimum time. Don't fall for it. Your vacation is too valuable. Your money is too hard-earned. You deserve better than being treated as a captive audience to be exploited. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you played slots on a cruise ship? How much did you lose? Do you wish you'd known this information before you played? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might save someone else from making the same mistake. And if this video opened your eyes to the truth about cruise ship casinos, smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this with anyone you know who's planning a cruise, especially seniors and retirees who are being specifically targeted by these predatory practices. The cruise lines don't want you to have this information. Prove them wrong. Be the educated traveler who enjoys their cruise without getting fleeced in the casino. Remember, knowledge is power. Now that you know the truth about cruise ship slots, you can make an informed decision. And that informed decision should be to never play them. I'll see you in the next video. Safe travels, and stay sharp out there.